So it wasn't until I got to the editing stage of this video that I realized I didn't film anything that could be used as an intro. So today I will be showing you how I built my drawer. Now obviously I've got a fair bit more done since then, so hello from the future. I'll try not to give too much away, but here's my little drawer I built. And I'm gonna run through the process of putting this one together. After a quick trip to Bunnings, I started by docking all of my timber to the right length for the body of the drawer. Next was to get the height down to the right size for the cavity that I'd already created. I used a planer to get it down as I thought it would give a nicer edge than that with a handsaw. I then continued this process for the other pieces and made sure they all finished up flush at the same height. I wanted to create a little rebate for the lid of the drawer to sit in order for it to finish flush with the body of the drawer and keep it housed nice and tidy. In order to do this, I used my Laminate Trimmer and set the blade depth to the width of the ply that I used for the lid, and then set the guide to about 1/3 of the thickness of the drawer body so there would be enough of a lip for the lid to support the weight on top of it. In this part I also made a mistake by running the Laminate Trimmer against the direction that the blade was spinning, which in turn loosened the blade, allowing it to drop down further and butcher my timber. On top of being extremely dangerous, this left a bit of a blemish in my drawer. Live and learn, I guess. That part definitely could have gone a bit better. I made a few mistakes on every single piece. Like one, I didn't factor in that it's going to be finishing up like that, so you're going to see that there running all the way through. It will have a top plate, so it's not the end of the world, just a small thing. And also, like, this is the first time I've used the Laminate Trimmer, so first one I didn't have the blade tight enough, and unfortunately it started slipping out as I was going, which has left a couple of like bad marks. Just overall, there's a few areas where I've made little notches. But look, I'm still happy with how that's coming out. And yeah, it's gonna work for what I need it to do. Just gotta get it ready for the bottom of the drawer and then I can chuck it in. To house the base of the drawer, I set the depth up about 10mm from the base of the panel and routed about half the thickness of the piece. This was enough to support the weight of what would go in the drawer without the risk of cracking the timber. To cut my lid and base to size, I measured the width of the drawer internally and then added the 7mm rebate that I had on either side to allow it to sit tight. So here's the first look at my drawer going together. So it's pretty much sweet. I've made a little error with my marking. That lengthways had to sit 5mm out, sorry 10mm out wider to suit the gap. I've done 10mm out that way as well, which has made it too long. So not only do I need that to be 10mm shorter, probably need it 20mm shorter so that way that can sit flush. So I'm just gonna take 20mm off the end and then that should all come together pretty well. And here's the drawer made up without any screws with the lid finished. So That's how it's gonna look in the end. I'm just gonna pull this apart and just give it a bit of a sand. Then I reckon I'm gonna knock it all together and give it a bit of a coat of lacquer. After that, it'll be ready to go in. So I've got the drawer all packed up here. Just gonna try to assemble it and get it all together nicely. Just gonna assemble it dry first, make sure everything's working. I'm going to chuck a little bit of wood glue in all of the slots, and then I'm going to be using bugles to fix it all together. The glue is starting to set, so I've got to move a little bit quick. Probably should have marked screw holes before gluing, but that's okay. This doesn't have to be absolutely perfect, just has to hold it. I'm just going to repeat that process on all the other spots. And boom, just like that, my drawer is all done. Just got to clean up the glue that's come through on the inside. And then begin the process of staining it. Also just going to see if the lid fits or if I have to do any adjustments on it. I'm stoked, that's perfect. Hey Ollie! Hello! Hello! This is Oliver. It's a bit of a cutie. So this is now to get the lid of the drawer. What I've done is I've marked halfway. I've allowed 100 mil for a comfortable distance for my fingers to be apart for when I want to open it. And then I've gone divided by 2 to get my 100 mil. Gone 50 millimeters back from halfway mark on either side. So now I've got a hole saw. And all I have to do is line this up with the point that I've made for that hole. There's one. There we go. There's the lid. Now I'm just gonna hit this with a quick coat of stain. It's really a clear coat, isn't it? But coat of clear coat sounded dumb in my head, so I pulled out halfway through. And now I look even more stupid. Just gonna hit this. I'm gonna aim for 2 coats on the drawer, maybe even 3 because it's gonna get a bit of a beating. Something's gonna be coming in and out a lot. Have stuff moved around in it, so I really want it to be nice and protected and make sure the wood doesn't rot in case it gets wet, which it might. Those drawer sliders are now in. Hello again from the future. I, again, forgot to film me actually putting the drawer in because I was in a bit of a rush when I did it. So I'm gonna run through now how I installed it all. So the sliders were already in, as you saw before. And then through here, I just marked up the height that needed to sit at so it didn't hit the front here and could slide out nice and unhindered. Then after that, using the same height across the whole thing, I marked lines going through from the start to the finish. And then it was as simple as just supporting the weight up of the drawer and then screwing it in on the lines that I'd marked. So in order to make the drawer look nice and tidy and have all of that tie in together well and not have the drawer slider showing, what I've done is built a little false front, which I then just screwed to the front of the drawer. So I'll show you how I did that. I created a seconded piece, which I used as my false front, and I made sure all of that was gonna fit in there nicely, matching the rest of the framework. And because I hadn't put these slats on yet, I was able to have it all sitting there. I packed it up a little bit from the bottom, supported it up, and then I just used the drill, put a couple of screws, which you can see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, going from the inside drawer, fixing that front on. So all you have to do for that is make sure the depth of the screws is enough so it goes all the way through your first piece and then doesn't pop out the other end. And that is how you make a false front to cap off the drawer. Then the last step is just to line up your handle, make sure you get that nice and however central you want it, and screw it in from the back. And so that is how I built the drawer for my van. I hope that this helps someone out and shows a pretty simple yet effective way of building a drawer all by yourself at home. Thanks for watching.